Welcome back, everybody. Sarcasm Speaks, Jared and Bob here. It's Sunday evening, as it usually is for our Monday show, and we're coming off of the Players Championship on the PGA Tour, and we talked a little bit about this last week. But yeah, the meme and the funny everything of the Happy Gilmore, Happy learned how to putt, about Scottie Scheffler. Yeah, looks like Scottie learned how to putt. So you guys are all screwed now. Scottie just won back-to-back weeks and is the first person ever to repeat uh win like in back-to-back years at the Players Championship at TPC Sawgrass, which people forget. It costs $700 to play around there.
Nah, it costs 900.
Yeah.
Those were the screenshots I saw this year, 900.
Oh, well, yeah, inflation's a bitch.
Well, so here's the other thing. Just like, so I think I talked about Tiburon,
Hmm.
down in Naples. So if you try to find out the rates for Tiburon, they just fucking tell you. We use dynamic pricing, aka when we're busy, you pay more. When we're
Right.
not busy, you pay less. Very simple, very straightforward. Um, I don't think I blame them because I also think it's 130 grand to join there. So it's like if you're trying to get a public tea time, what do they really owe you?
Yeah,
Anyway,
nothing.
I wouldn't be surprised if Sawgrass took on something very similar. So like you want to play in March when Florida is crazy busy, 900 bucks. Oh, that seems like a lot. Well, someone will pay it, so next.
Yeah.
But you want to come down second week of June when it's not so busy and it's
It's
not
about
so popular
120 degrees.
and it's hot and Jacksonville's nice and steamy, or Ponte Vedra Beach. Um, yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's 450. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know what their rates are, but yeah, I did see I saw 900 for this year.
Yeah. Fun.
Yeah, pretty cool.
So, I don't know. Scotty's pretty fucking good, and he's probably just going to keep winning. I am doing the thing where I take him top 10 every single week this season. So it's worked out for me so far. Um, I think I heard actually. So I was listening to Drinking Bros podcast as a quick like golf betting show with one of their producers who likes golf. So it's Ross and their producer Dan Register. I don't know how to say his last name, but it's quick. They put it out every week. It's like 10 to 15 minutes. Um, and I want to say, so they use my bookie, right? Because they're also sponsored by my bookie. Shout out to them. Use the promo code Sarcasm Pod when you sign up to double your first deposit up to $1,000. Um, they mentioned that Scotty was down to like 575 pre the players tournament.
What, the players?
Yeah,
Yeah,
on my bookie.
575 is probably a pretty good number. I thought he was like 550.
Yeah, which is kind of nuts, right? Like to be that low in a tournament. I mean, obviously he won, right? Um, but so Dan actually had a really good point when he was talking about betting Scotty in particular. He said that he won't bet Scotty in pre-tournament at 5 to 1 or 6 to 1. He was like, I'll just wait until Friday or Saturday. And at that point, like you'll know whether he's in the hunt and you can still get him at 5 or 6 to 1, right? Like if he's,
Grab some 10 to
if
ones and shit this time.
yeah, if he's like T7, right? And he's, 4 shots off the lead on Saturday, well, you can get him at probably 6 to 1, right? Or better than that, right? So it's like, you don't need to bet Scotty pre-tournament when his number is that low. You can wait and just bet him live on Friday or Saturday. Um, so I thought that was kind of an interesting take. It makes sense, right? Um,
The other thing too is you can also check tee times, right? So when the tee times come out on Tuesday, if he's a late,
Late early.
yeah, so if he's like late early, then you can just drill him live during the first round, like once someone goes out there and posts a number.
Right.
Now, it probably won't move as much, so actually going early late might actually be even better because he doesn't just roll out there and shoot like 7 under every round.
Right. Right.
So if he goes out, say hangs like 3, 4 under, well, someone somewhere is probably going to shoot 5, 6, 7, 8.
Right.
Um, maybe probably not at the Masters, but you know, regular tournament. Someone's probably going to shoot that.
Yeah.
So he'll be around, but it should be enough to either keep him at no worse at what he is pre-tournament. But if he's going late Friday, that means you have another morning run too.
Right. Right.
So yeah, it's
So
an option.
yeah. Yeah. Something to keep in mind. Like I said, when he mentioned that, I was like, oh wow, that's a really good idea. Because then, after Friday, like you have a pretty good idea, right? Of, is he playing well? Is he not playing well? Which this week seemed to not matter because was it Friday morning he woke up and said he's got a stiff neck, he slept wrong, and his neck was fucked up, and he ended up winning the tournament.
Well, I mean, he
So
shot 64 today, so there's
yeah,
that.
yeah. So it's it was whatever. But yeah, I mean, I had a Xander outright bet at
Of
22 to
course.
1,
Of course.
and he choked it away at the end there. So
As he is one to do.
yep, yep, that's what he does. So I almost this morning hedged it with Wyndham Clark, and I was like, nah, that's fine. Because I think I only put like $5 on Shoffley. So I think it was like 5 to win 110. Yeah, it makes sense if he was 22 to 1. Um, and I was like, I don't know. Do I throw like 20 on Wyndham and kind of see how it goes? And, we'll, hedge it out and see what happens there. Um, but then I was like, nah, I'm just gonna leave it because I think Wyndham this morning was like 6.5 to 1 or something like that. Like it wasn't like
He should have been 3.
yeah, it was just whatever it was it wasn't enough for me to like it, and it worked out because neither of them won. And Wyndham Clark had an absolute massive power lip out on 18 that would have tied him with Scheffler, that would have sent him to a playoff. So um I mean, I was sitting there watching the end of it with Amy, and I was like, obviously I was rooting for Xander because I had money on him. And I was like, you know what? It doesn't even matter because this was after he missed the putt on 17. He missed the birdie putt and tapped in for par. And everyone was like, oh, well, now he needs to birdie on 18. And I was like, you know what? It doesn't even matter at this point. Like, I don't even care because if he does birdie 18, he just has to go to a playoff with Scottie. And I was like, there's no way he's going to beat Scottie in a playoff. So it's done, right? Like that putt on 17 sealed it for me. And then what does he do with his tee shot on 18? Punches it through the fairway into the pine straw.
He played
So
really, really poorly from like hole 14 on.
yeah, which is a classic Xander on Sunday move. So um, you know,
He really is a bum.
yeah, yeah,
Speaking of though, I do have a redactment. Scottie Scheffler has shown that he is currently not a bum. So
yeah,
because
yeah,
he was a bum early season. I
right.
called him a bum early season. I believe I said he's a bum until further notice.
Yeah. Well,
Further notice,
notice has been
yeah,
given.
further notice rescinded. Um, but my only word of caution with him in his career so far, he has not won after the Masters.
Oh yeah.
And that being said, I think he has 9, 2 players, 2 APIs,
Yep.
2 Phoenix Open,
Yep. A
1
Masters.
Masters, 1 match play. That's 8. Maybe he's got 8.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think he won 4, 2, and 2. So maybe it's only 8. Maybe he doesn't have 9 wins. So he
He's an
punches
early
it.
season
I would say
guy.
he punches in bunches, and all of those events are early season.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's interesting to watch as we keep going with that. But
Yeah, it's something to keep an eye on.
the good thing out of this is that I did get Wyndham Clark to win the Masters at 48-1. So I believe it was Friday, right? I texted you on Thursday, I think, and said, "How do you feel about Wyndham Clark 48-1?" And I think you said you need to look into it a little bit more. And then Thursday he played well, and I think Friday
Played well again on Friday.
it was midday, or like it was early in the morning. No, he was only like 4 or 5 holes in, because I think he was like 3 under through five. Um, so I went and I hit him at 48-1 to win the Masters at either FanDuel or DraftKings. I forget which one it was. Um, and then by the end of the day, he was down to 36. And now, I mean, at this point, I haven't checked, but he
30.
was he's at 30. Yeah. I was gonna say he was a
Yeah,
lip away
someone
from.
tweeted it out. That could be a Vegas book. The guy tweeted it out, but
Okay.
uh, even when you saw him down at 36, there were some 40s still available.
Okay. Yeah. So, I mean, he's moving down. Um, and it could be one of those scenarios too where, like you had mentioned before, he could move back, right? Like if some other guys get some numbers and if he doesn't play again, I mean, he might. What's between
So it's
it's the
the
Valero,
Valspar. So they got the Valspar this week.
then the Valero.
I mean, we're only a couple weeks out, right?
Yeah.
So the Valspar is Thursday the 21st.
Yep.
There's an event on the 28th,
Yeah, it used to be the match play, but they got rid of it.
and then there's an event on the 4th,
Yeah.
and I don't know what they are.
I think the fourth is Valero. Yes. So it's the Valspar, then it's the Houston Open, and then it's the Valero, and then it's the Masters.
They used to play there was years. They played the Houston.
It was a fall event, wasn't it?
No, but before that. The Houston Open used to be the week before the Masters because a lot of guys liked the course that they used to play. I forget which one it was.
Memorial Park.
I don't think that's it.
Oh,
Um, but they used to like it. I forget what the logic was. There was like whether it's the type of shots or because obviously the course itself wasn't anything close to Augusta,
right.
but there was something about it that a lot like like the guys who liked playing the week before said it was like a really good lead into Augusta. Maybe it was like the tight areas. I don't know. But then like I think they changed the schedule. Then they moved the event to the fall. Now it's back, but it's not the week before. Fucking A.
Yeah. So yeah, I got Wyndham 48-1 to win the Masters. So I think I have right now, I have him, Brooks Koepka. I might have gotten it 24-1. And then maybe Victor, which probably
He is
was
playing like
was
shit.
a worse number than what's available now. Like whatever number I got Victor at, I guarantee you it's higher right now.
So I can hold off on your CLV trophy to send it to you in the mail
Yeah.
for Wyndham Clark.
Yeah. I wonder if I can. Oh, no, no, no. Sorry, not Victor. Will Zalatoris. That's what it was. So
Oh,
I have three outrights for the Masters so far. Wyndham Clark at 48, Zalatoris at 24, and Bruce at 21. So I will
I'm
have many more.
I would say I'm gonna try not to overextend myself this year because like last year was the year where I had Jason Day like 80 to 1. He closed like probably 30. I had like Homa all over the place. I had Hatton and Hovland in every major. And it's like I beat the line so many times. And then like Rom still won the Masters.
Yeah,
I'm like, this kind of sucks.
yeah, yeah.
Because the thing is, like, if I got a hot beat on someone, I might as well just wait till week of and take them top 20.
Right, right. Yeah, that's fair. I may
And
end
it's
up
it's
doing something
really
like that
it's
too.
also really difficult because I've said it before. You don't know what these live guys are gonna kind of like show up as.
Right.
Like it seems like they're not like some of the heavy hitters kind of. Well, I mean, DJ won one, but like it's like Neiman's kind of running shit over there right now. But like, does Koepka even give a fuck? And like, does Hatton even give a fuck? Because Hatton was one of my guys last year.
Well, Kepka doesn't give a fuck over there. He literally said the only thing that matters to him is majors at this point.
So, but like, I would say between Rom, Cam Smith, DJ, and Koepka, would not be surprised to see any of the four of them at the top at the Masters.
Right.
But right now, Scheffler's unbeatable
Yeah.
for 2 weeks.
Right. Yeah. Well, he figured out how to putt.
I wonder if he's going to play again in between. He might not. That's
Yeah.
3 weeks off.
Yeah, he
Maybe he'll
could not.
play. Maybe he'll play Houston. He's from Texas. Um,
Yeah, because he used to play the match play in Austin.
but they all used to because it was
Oh,
a
yeah, that's true. It
WGC.
was WGC. That's right.
Yeah, I mean, I know he's a Dallas guy, but maybe he'll play in Houston.
Yeah.
Easy trip. Um,
Yeah, it's
but
closer
yeah,
than
I
San
mean,
Antonio.
so like if I gave you a pool of 10 players, DJ, Koepka, Rom, Cam Smith, I'll say Neiman, that's fine, or Scheffler, Wyndham Clark, Schauffele, Cantlay, Zalatoris. Do you really trust Clark, Cantlay, and Schauffele to get it done out of that pool of 10 guys?
No.
I don't either. And the only reason I trust Zalatoris is because he hits the absolute ever living fuck out of the ball.
Well, don't forget too. I say people forget. Phil finished T2 at the Masters last year.
Yeah.
Like, he kind of came out of nowhere, but I mean, the fucking guy can still play. I mean, it- it's
Don't
it's
worry about Phil
it's
this year.
yeah, it's Augusta, right? It's an Augusta thing, right? It's like you can be good here, right? Because you've played here for a million years. Um, and maybe not be good somewhere else, right? Like this is like the ultimate course history course.
Right. And it it is kind of important to know too, because especially like the live guys, like I don't know if Scotty Chef like let's just pretend Scotty Chef was playing Houston, right? Maybe
Right.
he's played there once or twice before. Is he really gonna get out there and scout the course or do any prep work before that? No, you can't do that every week.
Right.
You can do that on major venues. So you do that for Augusta.
Right.
You definitely don't do that when you live in Jupiter, Florida, and you're playing back to back events in fucking Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, in Hong Kong.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I don't like, do you think DJ would even bother going on fucking Google Maps?
No, he probably doesn't even know
No,
how to use
he
Google
doesn't even
Maps.
care.
Yeah, yeah.
Now his caddy might,
I don't know. His caddy's his brother, who also likes fucking cocaine, probably just as much as he does.
but it's also his job. He doesn't actually have to hit the ball.
Right.
He just needs to tell me how far is that bunker.
Yeah.
It's 310. Hit a cut off it.
Right.
Okay. Um, but that's the thing is like, especially like the live events, we don't know anything about these courses. They're all international. The guys have never seen, or some of these courses they've never seen before. First time
Right.
ever playing it. But
Right.
Augusta doesn't change, or I mean, I guess it changes, but like, you know the deal there,
Right. Right.
and it's like those guys are in the event. Like, we don't know if Kepka and DJ went for a practice round this week. They
Right.
might have, probably
Right.
didn't, but
Right.
like, I wouldn't be surprised if Kepka and his caddy just went because I think he really, really wants to win this one.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, have so it kind of
Same
brings
with
me to
Rom.
my next little point, I guess. Have you seen Full Swing yet?
No,
Season two?
no,
It's pretty good. It's different um than season one. So for anyone out there that watched or didn't, right? I guess it would be a better way to put that. Season one was more of like a individual story per episode, like it followed a golfer and kind of through their season. Some episodes had two golfers and things like that. It was more individualized and like developing a character kind of in a way, right? I mean, it sure worked for Joel Damon. But they spent a lot of time with Tony Finau, and I think the first episode last year was Justin Thomas and Jordan Spieth, and they spent some time with these guys and like getting to know them and like showcasing them. I think what it was. This season was more of a hey, golf is kind of fucking crazy right now. So like let's talk about all the shit that's going on like in general. Um so the first it was also a Ryder Cup year. So there were 8 episodes, right? There was same amount as last season. The first 2 episodes of the 8 were hey, let's talk about everything that's happened in the last year between PGA and Live, right? So not specifically like all like live in the ins and outs and stuff like that like they did in season one. Um but they just they covered the drama. They talked about Rory. They talked about guys being unhappy with Jay Monahan and things like that, while also covering the events and like people still playing. Like I think the first 2 episodes did a pretty good job at showing how chaotic it was for guys to be caught up in the drama, but also still have to play, not necessarily every week, but most weeks. Um, and then the last 2 episodes of the season were dedicated to the Ryder Cup. So literally half.
right?
Yeah. So half of the season, right? Four out of the 8 episodes were just about like overarching like storylines and things like that, right? So you did get the 4 episodes in the middle, right? Because it was the first 2 and the last 2, um, being Live in the Ryder Cup. So those middle 4 episodes, you did get like the classic, like last year, right? Like you got Joel Damon had an episode and Colin Morikawa was in there. Matt Fitzpatrick was back and they did a little bit more on his brother because his brother finished what T4 at the Open last year. So they covered that, right? They went into that story. Um, so those middle 4 episodes were a lot more like last season, but this season was very different. And at the end of it, Amy was like, I kind of wish like they did more about like the guys. And that's when I realized, and that's what I said to her was, well, half the season they spent on like overarching stuff, right? Again, it's the first 2 was the drama and the last 2 was the Ryder Cup. So you really only got 4 out of the 8 episodes that were like season one, right? Where it was like, let's follow this one guy for the whole season and kind of see how it's going. Um, so I didn't think it was bad. right? It was just different, right? Like if you loved season one, you would probably be slightly disappointed with season two, but I still thought it was pretty good. I enjoyed it. I think I probably do like season one a little bit better, um, but not by much, right? Like I thoroughly enjoyed both of them.
So I will watch. I want to be clear on that. I can't say I'm looking forward to it. The outline that you just gave me sounds fucking awful. Like really, it just does. Now, I can also say that it sounds awful because I kind of fucking know what's going on.
Yeah,
And it's like the worst parts of pro golf from last year take up half of it.
yeah.
Like,
They did get into
fuck me.
the Rory and Bones Mackay fight in the parking lot, and then Rory and LaCava on the green. Like they did get into a little bit of that, which was kind of funny. Um,
I mean,
like
maybe again, maybe it'll change my mind, but that was another like because Rory's a fucking huge pussy,
yeah, oh
honestly.
yeah, yeah,
Like I'm fucking good with him because he flip flopped yet again. I
yep,
had to go over this at the gym. Someone was like, "Why do you hate Rory?" I go, "Well, he doesn't win enough." And they're like, "Well, that's what but like he's like what?" I go, "The other thing too is nobody flip flops better than he does."
yeah,
And that's the thing with him. He has a fucking opinion about everything, and he doesn't fucking think it through. So then he fucking flips, and it's like, bro, you could have just fucking not spoke the first time.
yeah.
And it's
So
it's it's been everything. It started in the thing that I can remember specifically is I can remember specifically 2016, the Olympics. He didn't want to go because of the Zika virus, and he's like, well, he kind of like made it seem like the Olympics like weren't a big deal. And fine, like you don't think they're a big deal. Awesome.
yeah,
Then you go for the what I mean the 2020 Olympics and the 2021 Olympics, and you're like, oh man, I was totally wrong about that. And it's like, then why the fuck did you speak about something that you know nothing about? You
right,
are just as bad as every other fucking idiot on this planet. You have a fucking opinion about something that you don't know anything about. And because of who you are, it gets picked up and people
right,
remember. And I
right.
fucking remember.
Yeah,
And that's the thing is like you were like, oh, the Olympics, that's like not really a big deal. It's like, like it's not like a big thing. Then you go and it's like, oh, that was pretty cool. It's like, shut the fuck up. Just shut up, you dumbass. Because even today, he's flipped on the fucking
yeah. So
Prince Charming of fucking Saudi Arabia, whatever the fuck he is.
I
He
will
flips
say
he flips on fucking everything.
the the Rory on Live stuff, having watched Full Swing, again, it's not really a spoiler alert, but there's at one point, because I think it was also in the trailer, um, they like Rory is like just kind of talking to the camera, and he said that he is closer to Jay Monahan than anyone else on the tour, right? Like those are the words that he said. And then cut to Jay having
Announcement.
the deal with MBS, or not MBS, but whoever the guy that runs the PIF is, um, without talking to anybody on the tour. And then they show everyone like talking about it, being pissed, being this, being that, and then they go to Rory, and Rory's like, "Yeah, I had no idea," right? And this was an interview that he gave, might have been at the Open, or yeah, I think it was at one of the majors. It was like,
Would have been U.S. Open. That
okay,
would have
so it
been
was,
that would have been the most.
yeah,
That would have been the major closest to that announcement.
so it was at the US Open, and they asked him all this stuff, and he was like, I wasn't part of anything. I found out at the same time of all of you, and he was pissed, right? So they have the cameras that follow him around, and then so he was pissed. So like I'm just kind of extrapolating based on what I saw, but I would guess, right? And I'm not making excuses for him either, but I would assume, right, that he was under the impression that he was best buddies with Jay, so he was going to go to bat for Jay, and he was going to say, no, fuck Live, fuck all those guys that went there. PGA is where it's at. And then Jay, who he thought was his best buddy, went behind everyone's back, including his, right? And made this deal. And then he felt betrayed. So then he just kind of like threw his hands in the air and said, fuck it, I don't care anymore. Because then he also quit
Bored.
the board. He was a player member of the board of directors. So he quit the board and left. And then now his attitude in interviews and everything is, well, it doesn't matter. Like they can come back, they can do whatever. Like who cares? So I think all along he didn't care. But like to your point, right, about the Olympics, like making an uninformed comment, I think he wanted to go to bat for his buddy Jay, right, at the very beginning, because he thought if he had Jay's back, Jay would have his back. But Jay did not reciprocate. So Jay was a slimy little fuck and went behind everyone's back. So,
I mean, here's the thing though. Now, I actually believe that that's probably the case. Everything that you just laid out, I believe is probably true. But my problem is if you have a problem with Live and Live Golf and the players that left and um the where the money comes from, if you have problems with all that stuff, the second Rom leaves, you can't turn around and say, "Oh, L Ryder Cup, yeah, we probably need to figure out how to get our best guys out here." No,
yeah,
no, no. Just because it was Poulter and Westwood and Garcia and all those guys were probably on their way out, and you were like, "Oh, good riddance."
right,
Then Rom leaves, and you're like, "Oh, well, we got to find a way to get him back." No, no, you don't get to do that. And I don't give a fuck if he backstabbed you or you were left in the dark or everyone was like, "Come on, Rory, like we need you to champion us." And he goes, "Okay, fine, I'll do it." And then then they fuck him. Turns
right,
around, and goes, "What the fuck, guys?" And they're like, "Oh, well, we were kind of like working on a deal. You guys absolutely fucking fucked me on this one."
right. You made me look like a complete asshole.
The Rom shit happened after. That is not related to
Right,
that's my
right,
own that's where like when he flip flops, it's not even just like, oh, Liv's bad, and then it's like, oh well, Liv might not be so bad. No, it's like it's the other stuff.
yeah,
It's like, oh, they should never be allowed to come back. It's like, well, I might see a way that they could come back. It's like, okay, because it's the old Europeans you were pissed at. You were
right,
pissed at the old guys for taking their payday, taking their champions, to whatever. And then some real guys started fucking going. And then you
right,
realize that this was fucking real. So
right.
you're a stupid fuck. You have no fucking balls. Go fuck yourself. And you know what? Until further notice, you're a bum too.
Yeah, I mean, when's the last time he won?
Won a major?
Well, I mean,
2014.
I know a major, but just one in
20,
general.
2014.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, so here's my only thing with him. We're
He
regular
he
season events.
he can't
We're
close either.
we're talking regular season events
Oh yeah, I
with him.
know.
No, we're
Yeah,
not.
yeah,
I'm not doing regular season. He's won like 21 of them.
yeah.
And then if you add in Europe, he's won like 30 times worldwide. Like we are not talking regular season events with Rory McIlroy.
Right, right. Yeah, yeah. I mean, with him, it comes down to majors, right?
Yeah.
So, who he now is behind Bruce. Bruce has five. Rory's got four.
Yep.
So that was one of the things that Brooks said in the thing was like, yeah, majors are really all that matters to me. And I think he said he was like, yeah, I feel like I could get 12. He goes, I feel like 12 is realistic.
Listen, I would love that because that's a lot of really good golf.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's funny too, because when you go back to season one, if you like talk to the regular person, I think across the board, everybody loved the Joel Damon episode.
Right. Right.
And then there were some people who liked the Finau episode. Now, I don't know how you felt about that.
It was fine.
I thought it was the most boring fucking episode of the whole fucking thing.
Yeah.
Who gives a flying fuck? Honestly,
Yeah.
who gives a fuck?
He's got a really big family that follows him around
Awesome.
everywhere. Yeah.
He's Tongan. Cool.
Yeah.
You got 25 kids. Wonderful. Who fucking cares? Honestly. And then a lot of people, so the people who liked the Finau episode, they were like, oh, I hated the Kepka episode. I hated Brooks. I'm like, well, that's because you went to live. But anyway,
Right.
But I'm like, this is why we can't have like these normal conversations. I'm like, I thought his episode was good because he seemed like the only fucking real person.
Yeah. He
Like Tony
literally
Finau,
sat there in
Tony
front of the
Finau's
camera and
life does
goes, I
not seem
suck.
right. Like Tony Finau's life does not seem correct. Like, doesn't it seem like he's hiding something? Which he
Yeah.
is.
So, yeah. Like something's off.
Well, he is hiding something because he owes a lot of people a lot of fucking money. Um, he's getting sued up the ass.
Oh, geez.
So it's like it's almost like one of those like on the surface it looks great, but it's like, do you actually believe
Yeah.
that? I don't
Yeah.
believe that.
Right.
Now, Kepka's made a lot of money, so it's like the house and the pool with like little couch thing in the
Right.
pool, like
Right.
that's a little bit of fantasy land, but when you've won that much money and you live in Jupiter, Florida, I guess you have that stuff.
The closet that is the size of like my actual
It's
bedroom
fucking
or
stupid.
bigger, right?
But that's just money, right? That's not
Right.
like
Right. Right.
choices. But the way he actually speaks
Yeah.
just seems so much more believable.
Right.
It's what made the Joel Damon episode so good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does Homa
Yes.
have an episode?
Um,
He probably
I
doesn't have one. He's because he wouldn't make so for him to be himself, it's not good TV. Because he's actually a funny bastard, but like people are gonna think he's an asshole.
Right. Right. No, I don't think he was in there. Wyndham Clark got his
Oh
own
my,
episode.
why? What the fuck is interesting about Wyndham fucking Clark?
His mom died.
Sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, hey, that's a bad beat.
Yeah.
But like,
Rico got his own episode.
you're shitting me.
Um,
This sounds worse and worse the more you fucking tell me.
DJ was in there. Tom Kim was there. Keegan. Yeah, they followed so Keegan didn't get his own episode, but Keegan got like some spotlights here and there. And then when it came to the Ryder Cup stuff, they spotlighted Keegan a bunch.
Did he give them anything?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm in on that.
Yeah. Um Again, not giving anything away, but the cameras were on at Keegan's house when Zach Johnson called him.
All
So,
right. So like I said, as I open this, like I will watch,
yeah.
but I wasn't like overly excited. I
You know
still
who
don't think
comes out of this looking actually really good that I am kind of now a fan of actually and was honestly completely indifferent and probably like you say like what do you think about this guy? I'd be like I didn't even know he was still on the tour. Um was oh fuck, I just blanked on his name. The captain for Europe. Um
Luke
Luke
Donald.
Donald. Luke Donald. He was absolutely incredible. I thought like I am now actually a fan of Luke Donald after this. Just because like kind of similar to like the Kepka and the Damon episodes last year where he was just like this is me, right? Like and the way he kind of they kind of picture it like he was basically handed a shit sandwich, right? And was like good luck with all these young kids in Europe that cuz everyone left for live and they're not available anymore. And oh, by the way, no one wanted you as captain because it was supposed to be Henrik,
Ensign.
right? And Henrik went to live. So they're like, I guess we'll give it to Luke Donald. And he just like comes out of this whole thing. And obviously we know the results of the Ryder Cup, right? They fucking shellacked the US. But Luke Donald comes out of everything and is like, wow, that guy is like really well put together. Like he's a super great guy. Like I said, I am a fan of Luke Donald now because of that. So Zach Johnson, on the other hand, not so much. But
He looked like an ass, didn't he? You don't get into it. Don't ruin it for me. But he looked
yeah,
like an ass, didn't he?
yeah, he did.
Yeah. I would love to see his demise. He is such a pussy. Such a pussy.
Yeah, yep. So yeah, it's pretty solid. Like I said, I enjoyed it. Right, like again, it's Not as good as season one, um, but I enjoyed it. But yeah, I mean, to your point, right? Like, if Max Homa was on there and had his own episode, that would be fucking nuts.
Watch the two if you want to know about Max Homa, watch the two Bob Does Sports matches with him and probably the foreplay one too. I haven't seen the foreplay one in a while.
Yeah.
Um you want to get an idea of who fucking Max Homa actually is? Watch those. And he's awesome.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's really not he would be such a stiff with TV.
So, um, let's see. Well, I guess we could do a little bit more sports while we're on here. This is more so I've been going back and forth, in our group text between me, you, Vinny, and Jones here. But I think I'm all set with the Pats. So we don't have to spend a ton of time on this, but um it kind of came to a head right the other day when you texted the group and you were saying, I hope Marvin Harrison Jr. breaks all of Jerry Rice's records and we pass on him.
Jerry
And
Rice and Moss.
yeah, yeah. And I came out and said, yeah, I hope that they actually pick the one quarterback that sucks out of the top three, right? Because everyone's like, oh, there's these top three quarterbacks. I hope we pick the one that sucks and the other two turn out to be Lamar Jackson and Pat Mahomes. Right. And then, oh, by the way, I hope the two left tackles that go in the top five end up being Hall of Fame left tackles too. Like I am all set with this franchise. And the one thing that I had said was if if you want to run your franchise like a poverty franchise, this is what you're going to get. You're going to get poverty and you're going to be shitty. And I haven't seen any of the Dynasty yet. So maybe I'll watch that when you watch Full Swing. Then we'll trade notes. Um
I got
but
two. I didn't finish the nine. I got two left.
But everything I hear from the Dynasty is that Robert Kraft is an absolute fucking schmuck. And it's a hit piece on Bill Belichick. So you're going to stand here, right? And say, and again we talked about this in our group text, right? Kind of makes you wonder. And I had said this again, not seeing the Dynasty, just hearing what you guys are saying about, Kraft looking really bad out of all of this because which actually backfired, right? Because he's trying to make himself look good, but real Pats fans see it and go, "Wow, Kraft looks really bad," because it's too obvious that he's trying to make himself look good in this, and shitting all over Bill. So I look at that, right? And I said to you guys, kind of makes you wonder about those random one off years where they actually did spend, right? Like in 2015, they gave a big contract to Gilmore and Amendola, right? In 2009, they gave the big contract to Adalius Thomas. Um, like there's been these like one off years here and there, right? I forget what year they did the Revis deal, but it was 2 years, but it was really only 1 year, right? So
Revis was a trade.
yeah, that's true. So like there are these random like one-off years every now and then where like they did spend a lot of money, right? Or 2020, or no, what was that? 2021, right? When they signed Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith, right? Again, it didn't quite work out, but it seems like every 3 4 5 years they would have this 1 year where they would spend a lot of money in free agency. And I said, I wonder if that was Bill all along, right? That the issue all along was Kraft not wanting to spend his money and Bill kind of taking that and running with it almost like as a challenge and like in spite of Kraft not really wanting. And where he would go, okay, fine, I'll just go win a Super Bowl with Malcolm Mitchell because I'm that fucking good, right? And oh, by the way, I have Tom Brady as a quarterback, who is the greatest quarterback of all time. So, those two guys were the franchise, right? Bill and Brady were the franchise. I mean, at this point, it's safe to say Brady was more so, right? But I would give it like 60-40, right? I would
Well,
go
you needed
60
both.
40 Brady. Yeah. Oh, for sure.
You needed both because
You needed both.
when your defense was bad, the
Right.
team was also bad.
Right. Right. Um, but I would say it's safe to say you go 60-40 Brady Bill, right? You did need both. Like 40% is a lot, right? But the nod does go to Brady. However, again, this whole time, was it Kraft that was the one that was cheap and wouldn't spend the money? And Bill was just kind of doing what he did, right? And every again 3-4 years, he got that 1 year where he was like, all right, fuck you, Kraft. Like I'm gonna sign some guys. I just spent 4 years not spending any money. Now this year we're gonna spend some money. Um, maybe that was the deal, that they had cut between the two of them, right? And so now you don't have Brady anymore. You don't have Bill anymore. And you have this team that had the most cap room in the entire NFL, and they haven't done anything with it. Nothing. Right before we hit record, it came out they signed KJ Osborne. Sick. The third wide receiver from Minnesota Vikings.
So, a couple things here. So my biggest issue with this offseason, because I like this. Here's what I like about the offseason. I like signing a Wenu.
They re-signed the guys that they should have re-signed, right?
I
Aweno,
like,
Uche, and they transition tagged Duggar,
and they got
right?
in Anthony Jennings is staying.
Right, right,
Um, Hunter Henry's back.
right.
So I liked those things.
There's still no left tackle. There's still no quarterback.
I actually like the KJ Osborne signing too because it's only a year. He's another wide receiver. He's better. So he slot. So if you take this, he's a wide receiver three. But if you take this current team, he's probably your him and Bourne are probably like wide. They would be like wide receiver 2.5, wide receiver 2.5, and then Pop would be your slot guy.
Right.
But like you might actually be able to run a functional offense like that because you still. I mean, it's Rager, it's Juju. You'll cut Tyquan Thornton, like,
Yeah.
or he'll get hurt for the season, whatever. Um, So I don't think the moves they made, I don't mind. My biggest issue is the lack of moves because I'm struggling to figure out, and I'm going to before I explore. I mean, I got super whatever morning that was when I just sent fucking I was texting everybody and I was just fucking pissing and moaning about like how there's no fucking left tackle. The things I'm struggling with are you don't have a quarterback, a wide receiver one, or a tight end. I'm sorry, a left tackle. Because you
Right.
do, and you did get Austin Hooper as tight end too. That's fine. That's a good signing too.
Right.
I think it
Yeah,
was
he's
cheap as
fine.
well.
He's a good second string tight end.
Second tight end.
Yeah. Yeah.
He can catch some balls. I think he can block. Good
Right.
enough.
Right. He's exactly what you
And
want out of a second string tight
he
end.
played in Cleveland, so he should know the
Right.
offense.
Right. Right.
And that's the thing is if the OC was like, hey, go get this guy, there's a reason why he wants that guy.
Right.
So in the first round, if you stay at 3, you can get quarterback, you could get Marvin Harrison Jr., or you could get a left tackle. Okay. Then you pick again at 34, where you're going to get a first round talent at that pick, but it's just like by need. Like
Right.
theoretically, if say San Francisco wants a D tackle, and if the Chiefs want a wide receiver, which I don't know if they do anymore because they just got Hollywood.
Hmm.
So if you were looking at a left tackle, well, that left tackle would have went in the first round if one of those teams wanted them. So it is a first round talent at that pick.
Right.
Okay. So if you take quarterback and then you take tackle, that guy has to start at left tackle.
Right.
Has to.
Right.
No other option because there is no left tackle on this roster.
Correct.
who's this quarterback going to throw to? So, okay. I actually think wide now. So take the name Marvin Harrison Jr. aside. Wide receiver is the least important of the first two picks because, and I know we did this already, and we don't have to rehash it again. If you have no quarterback, but you have a left tackle and a receiver, when are you getting the quarterback? How are you
Right.
getting the quarterback?
Right. And I mean, look at the
Where
Atlanta Falcons last year. They have
all the pieces.
talent wise one of the most talented tight ends in the NFL, right? Um, a great young wide receiver in Drake London. It's yet to be seen how good he can actually be because he's never had a good quarterback. And then you have Bijan Robinson, who's a fucking stud,
He also
right?
doesn't get. I mean, they also don't get the correct usage.
Right. So they had, yeah, it doesn't help that Arthur Smith was running the show there and he's retarded. Um, So now they have what's the kid? Slowick, the guy from Houston, I think
Houston.
is the OC. And they have Kirk Cousins, right? So we're gonna see what Drake London really is. And as if he can stay healthy, Kyle Pitts should go back to what he did his rookie year, which was be a lights out tight end. Um, So again, that's the thing, right? That's the thing everyone points to, right? They're like, oh, that's the always the backlash when I say, oh, you should draft Marvin Harrison. And they're like, well, who's, there's no quarterback. Look at Atlanta. Look at Atlanta. Everyone's like, oh, look at Atlanta. And it's like, okay, all right, I'm looking at Atlanta, right? Like, here's the deal. So if you pick a quarterback at 3, hope he's good.
Yeah, it better be good.
Because the other thing too is the way and again, I'm not an NFL GM. I'm not even anything close to one, right? I couldn't even pretend to be an NFL GM. However, right, using some common sense and some sports history and just again, just my regular average brain, if you're picking with the number 3 overall pick in the NFL draft, you better pick a player that is going to be transcendent, that is going to fit being is worthy, right, of being picked number 3 overall in the NFL draft. We see it year in and year out all the time. We always go back to was it 2011 was the Christian Ponder, Jake Locker, right? Blaine Gabbert. Everyone was freaking out. So they traded up to get Ponder and they do all this stuff. Like you do not trade up to get a guy that you don't think is going to be an absolute stud, right? Like if you were just going to ask me as an NFL GM with the third overall pick, who would you take? I would take either Joe Alt or Marvin Harrison Jr. because I don't believe in any of the top 3 quarterbacks, but Caleb Williams is a consensus number 1 pick, so be it, right? Number 2 is going to be either Drake May or Jaden Daniels. I am not convinced that either of those guys is going to be great, right? And if you're going to draft someone at the number 2 overall pick, they need to be great. That's not someone that you hope is going to develop into a star. The guy you draft at number 34 overall is someone you would hope would develop into a star, right? The guy at number 2 and number 3, right? Even 15, right? The guy you draft at number 15, you would hope would be pretty good. The guy you drafted number 2 and number 3 should be an absolute monster, right? So that's my vision to look at something like that. If you give me the number 3 overall pick, who do you want to take? I want to take either Marvin Harrison Jr. or Joe Alt because it's pretty widely accepted that Harrison Jr. is an absolute stud and Joe Alt is a freak. Like through the combine, they said his hands were massive. He was running fast. He was jumping, and he's 6'8". Like he's just a monster of a human being and athletic as all hell. Right. So to me, on paper, those are the 2 players that are locks to be great, if not Hall of Fame caliber. Those are the guys you take with the number 3 overall pick. You don't say, well, I'm not really decided between Drake May, Jaden Daniels. Either of them could be good, or, maybe they won't be good. No, you don't. There, like, if there's debate on someone, you don't pick them. That's the guy you pick at 10 or 12 or 15 or 20. Like I said, like, you don't waste a top five pick on someone that you hope is going to develop into something. You take the sure thing. You take the guy that's an absolute stud. Again, that's just my opinion, right? And I'm not an NFL GM again, so maybe that's why.
They have too many holes.
Yeah, they do.
There's too many holes.
Yeah,
They don't have enough ability to fill the holes on their roster.
right.
That's it. That's all I've
Agreed.
got.
Agreed.
Because I don't know what they're going to do in the draft. Because they could trade back, they could acquire someone, they could sign so like they could do a lot between now and then. And what they do in that draft will show us what the hell they are. But right now, as it stands, there's too many holes in the roster to like field a functional football team.
Right.
And that's my fucking problem so
Right.
far.
Right.
Now, the other thing too is I don't love Mike Williams, but if you sign Mike Williams to like a decent deal,
Yeah.
at least that's a wide receiver.
Right. Right.
Again,
One year,
I don't love him.
for someone like him, right? 1 year, 5 million bucks, right? That
Oh,
could be worth
no,
up to
that's
10.
never gonna happen. That is never gonna happen.
No, no, no. That could be worth up to 10 or 12 on incentives. You
I
give
always
that
think
guy a 1 year deal that's an incentive based contract because he's never been able to play healthy through a season. That's why the
so.
Chargers
That's what.
cut him.
Hey, so that's what I thought too. He's played 15 games most seasons. I think he leaves a lot of games,
Yeah.
but he actually has. He so again I don't love the guy. He actually plays a whole hell of a lot more than everybody thinks because everyone just thinks, oh, he's hurt, he's hurt, he's hurt. He has played most games most years, except for the year he only like played like three or something.
Yeah.
I don't know if he blew his knee out or what. Um,
Well,
yeah, I mean, if
you can get him on the cheap this year because
oh,
the
I was thinking you
Chargers,
give him 17 up to 17 or
he's not going
something.
to get 17 from anybody because the Chargers are paying him 20 or 17 or something like that. The Chargers owe him, like, even let's use a low number. They owe him, say, 15 million, right? So you could get him for 5 to 10 because he's getting 17 already. That's what I mean. You get him on a 1 year deal, and the Chargers are basically paying his salary this year, right? Anything, and that's why you give him an incentive based deal. You give him 5 million guaranteed, right? And it's worth up to 12 based on incentives. So he could theoretically make what, 27, right, million from 15 from the Chargers and 12 from you if he hits all of his incentives.
So the only my only actual counter argument that you cannot answer, why would he take that to come here?
Yeah, he wouldn't. He would take that deal to go to like
Somewhere good.
St. Louis, fucking the Rams, the LA Rams.
He's not taking that deal to come here. That's why I
Right,
said you have to give him something up to 17 because you
right,
have to buy him
right.
to come here now.
Yeah,
Um, that's what I mean. So like say they do work something out with him. It's like, okay, well, 1 year deal, probably not that smart because then you're in the same position next year. You still don't have somebody.
right,
So that's my only thing. There's a lot of inaction and you don't even have a roster. Now, you literally have wide receivers. You literally have a quarterback. That's fine. You literally do not have a left tackle.
12
What
and
the
a
fuck is
half, by the way.
what in the fuck is the plan here?
The
Is that what they
charge
owe him or is that dead money?
the Chargers owe him 12 and a half this year.
Okay. I just and that's my problem is you have holes on your roster that you did not fill. So what the fuck are we doing here? So I'm not gonna get too pissy because if they have a decent draft, then I'll look at that and be like, all right, well, you brought some pieces back from your team that was already here. You filled a couple spots. You're still not going to be very good regardless of what you do,
Right.
but
But
just
you
show me
shouldn't
you're fucking building something
but
here.
you shouldn't be 4-13, right? You might be 7-9.
Well, as of right now, they are a worse team than last year.
Correct. I agree with that.
So if
They
you,
physically do not have a left tackle on the roster. And again, as of right now, at 8:02 on March 17th, right? Talk to me again in July when training camp starts and they have the roster filled out, right? We could change, right? Because theoretically, right? Ideally, they will have a left tackle by that point. Um,
well, you need someone, but I'm
right,
like, what are you doing? Like, what the fuck are we in fact doing here?
right, right.
So
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I'm so fucking annoyed, but I'm also not going to I'm going to reserve judgment until the draft, which is great because we still have like fucking 5 weeks of this bullshit,
Yeah. It's
which really,
fantastic.
really makes me want to fucking harm myself. This is fucking awful.
Well, that being said, you want to wrap this up?
We can wrap this up.
All right. What do you
Um,
got?
so it's an annual tradition. I may as well just get right to it.
Yes.
Today being St. Patrick's Day, you guys listening to this the day after. Uh, I may have broke Conti Chris, but um, I'm going to actually give something constructive. Instead of just trashing the boiled dinner,
Wow.
I'm going to tell you what you should do instead with some options.
Okay.
So, a couple things. One, and we'll keep it Irish. Shepherd's pie, no issues there. No issues whatsoever. Assuming someone knows what they're doing, but I got no issues with shepherd's pie. Can't eat a
Yeah.
lot of it, mashed potatoes, whatever.
Yeah, that's fair.
Um, what is it, like a Guinness? Like a Guinness and beef stew or something, usually?
Yep.
Like usually it's braised short ribs or braised beef with, like a stew type consistency, carrots, potatoes, all the crap, whatever, everything
Yeah,
you're looking for.
that's fair.
Um, any type of well cooked lamb also fits the bill because that is Irish food. So whether it's lamb shanks or a leg, whatever you want it to be, that is on the table.
I bought
And
a
I don't
lamb roast for Easter.
well, and that's usually how it goes. Is like, that's Easter food. Stop. It's not. Well, it can be. That's fine.
Right.
But like they eat lamb in Ireland.
Right.
Figure it the fuck out here. And if you must have the corned beef. Gotta have it. Can't be without it. Okay, I'll level with you. But for fuck's sake, do not boil a fucking thing.
Yeah.
Just cook it like a normal fucking person.
Yeah.
I would also encourage you, take your corned beef. You do need to do the soak it in water, the bacala of Ireland. Just make it into pastrami. Or you know what? Actually, that's not even, you don't even need to make it into pastrami. Like, soak the fucking thing, season the fucking thing, bake it in the oven, like let it roast. Like just let it just do its thing. Just don't put it in a pot of boiling water and telling me that that's good.
Yeah.
I broke him
That's
because I fuck it because he's like because he's still it's funny, right? Because like when I shit on bacala and the seven fishes and we shit on turkey, like we shit on everything, right?
correct. Yeah. It's what we're good at.
So I'm doing it and I don't know why he's taking it so fucking personal, but he's like, well, have you ever had a good one? I go, there's no such thing. Like it can't be good. It's boiled food.
Right.
It's the
Right.
worst form of food. And he goes, once a year, a good one's fine. I'm like, but like this is the thing though. It could be better. Like it can be better, and it's
Right.
not that hard to make it better. You could take the same ingredients and cook it better.
Yeah.
That's easy. I'm like, or you could switch the menu, which is what I was just talking about. And then, so like, I must have sent him like 3 or 4 different videos yesterday. And he's like, you talk about this like I eat it every fucking month. Like, he's like, what? He goes, you can have it once a year. I go, no, I
Yeah.
can't. The
Nope.
same reason that you can't have bacala or fucking smelts
Yeah.
on Christmas Eve. It's the same reason why I'm going to make fun of turkey, hams.
Yep.
It's the same thing. Green bean casserole. There is all that, and that's the thing. There's a better fucking way, and it's not that hard.
Right.
And like that, it's funny because some people, oh, you have to have the boiled dinner. No,
Yeah.
you
Nope.
don't.
You don't. You don't. It's
I
not
made a,
good.
well, never mind. I made a guanciale pizza today.
Yeah.
So, like, put me in jail, I guess. Didn't have the boiled dinner. Those are my alternatives. Slow cooked lamb, the Guinness stew, shepherd's pie, or take the corned beef and just don't cook it like a fucking,
Yeah.
don't cook it like your dog has the runs.
Like a mongoloid.
Yeah.
like it's the middle of the
No,
potato famine.
like literally, you don't know how to cook.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I would agree with that. Um yeah, I bought a lamb a lamb leg roast. Um it's like a small little 3 pound one. I'm gonna smoke it for Easter, and I'm probably gonna be the only one that eats it.
You already buy it.
Yeah, I got it yesterday. I checked the date. The date on it says April 6th. So
I was gonna
it's
say, like,
it's vacuum sealed. So
Easter's in 2 weeks, right?
yeah, yeah. Um yeah, it said April 6th. So I was like, all
Oh,
right,
just
well,
hey, so
that's before.
make sure before you get that before you get the lamb leg cooked, make sure you spend the entire night before drinking that
Oh yeah, the natter
that
days. Oh
no
my
no
God.
no, you got to get the thing I sent you guys.
Oh, the natter
The
day vodka.
natural light
Yeah,
lemonade vodka whatever.
yeah. Oh, it's
7.99 a
disgusting.
bottle. I would recommend drinking that the day before so that you can like somehow get off the couch, go to cook the lamb, and then you
Yeah,
can just throw it all up
I'll
later.
throw it all up after that. Yeah, yeah, that'll be great. Like the best Easter ever that we had that one year. Oh man. Um, yeah, what was that like 2018 maybe?
19.
2019. Um, yeah. Yeah, because my mom's coming down and she's like, "Oh, I'll bring a ham and like we'll do all kinds of stuff." And I was like,
How
"I
about
am
you
gonna
just
get lamb.
don't bring a ham?
I'm gonna I'm gonna eat lamb because I can and I want to."
I
So
did ask one of my Greek kids. I go, when's Greek Easter? She's like, I don't know, sometime in April. I go, that is so fucking not helpful.
Greek Easter is where it's at. Like
I go,
they
and
know
I
how to
said that.
cook.
I go, truthfully, all I'm looking for is a cut of lamb. Like, I might cook one this year. I don't, but no one's gonna fucking eat it. Like, I don't think Michaela
Yeah.
eats lamb.
Well, that's why I just got like a little 3 pounder. After you smoke it, it'll probably end up being like two
You
pounds,
lose a
right?
quarter, right?
Yeah.
Um, maybe I will. But she was like, you should just come to our Greek Easter. We have it up on the spit and whatever. And I'm like, that sounds so fucking good.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I would love to do a full on like Greek Easter.
But
Like for regular Easter, like just cook like a Greek spread.
I need a fucking old, not, I'll just say experience because it could be like grandma's, like one of her kids might fucking know how to cook. I want someone who knows what the fuck they're doing. Because, like, now don't get me wrong, like, the lamb that you made that time was good. Like, you
Yeah.
do, in fact, know how to fucking cook.
Right.
But, like, if there's going to be spits involved and open flames and all types of
Right.
shit like that, like, I want someone who knows what the fuck they're doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it's going to be lights out. I know it's going to be,
Right.
but I don't know how to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a fair point. So
But if you want to learn how to cook on a spit, I'm all fucking ears.
yeah.
I'll
All
make the
right.
pasta.
We'll make it tzatziki sauce. We'll go all out.
or I'll just
Isn't it
eat the
just
lamb.
sour cream or Greek yogurt and dill?
It might be
I think that's all tzatziki is sour cream. It's maybe it's both. Maybe it's sour cream, Greek yogurt, and dill. Like I don't think
probably
it's
some lemon
very,
juice.
yeah, yeah. Like it's not very complicated, but make some. Oh fuck! I almost said
It's another one. So
muffaletta. It's not
well,
muffaletta,
no,
but
that's
that's
the
Louisiana. Yeah,
that's yeah, that's New Orleans. Um, yeah, I don't know what you're looking for there, but that's another thing too. It's like people are like, oh, you got to have a ham on Easter. No, there's literally a population of people very similar to us
yeah,
that have an Easter around the same time that do it 45 times fucking better. Do what they do.
yes, yeah. I can't. Moussaka. Is that what I'm thinking of? It's like
Oh,
it's meat lasagna. It's lamb basically with but instead oh okay. This is fucking delicious. Hear me out here. Moussaka is a creamy delicious dish made of spiced meat, either beef or lamb, cooked in tomato sauce and layered with fried eggplant and bechamel sauce. So it's
oh yeah, it's
basically
an eggplant lasagna.
it's lasagna but you replace the pasta with eggplant. So that's pretty fucking
Jones was
solid.
he texted me one time. They were either at a Greek place or Greek something. I don't remember. In the he was like destroying spanakopita. I've never actually had
Yeah.
that, but the Greek dessert baklava, fuck me up.
Yeah.
I could eat a fucking
Isn't that
tray of
like
that.
figs or
I want
something?
to say it's dates.
Okay. Yeah, 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 yeah,
That
yeah.
could be
Yep.
made up though, but it I just remember it being like so fucking sticky and sweet. It's got to be dates, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
Yeah.
I like baklava.
Can confirm, by the way, tzatziki sauce is yogurt, garlic, cucumber, olive oil, dill, and sometimes lemon juice.
Okay, so there's a little more going on there, but yeah,
But
nothing crazy. What was it?
yeah.
Greek yogurt? You said it was at the base.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, man. I mean, Greeks know what is up
They can
there.
fucking do Easter. That's for damn sure.
Yeah. Um,
Yet I'll probably have to fight with someone over fucking ham. Come fucking our Easter. Fucking useless.
uh, um, So my final thought is a relatively quick one. You invoked Cunty Chris already, and I will re-invoke him. That
Mhm.
he has reached out to be included in the new betting
Oh, the
syndicate
syndicate.
that we have going because I am officially 5-0 in my college lacrosse bets. So sometimes the best bet you make is the one that you don't make.
Yeah, I would almost say you're 6-0 because that one
Yeah.
you were leaning towards was about a bad bet.
Yeah, yeah. So it's for anyone that doesn't know, Lemoyne College is in upstate New York. It's literally like down the road from Syracuse. But they're a Division II college lacrosse program. But all of their non-conference games that they play, I shouldn't say all, but most of their non-conference games are against Division I opponents because they're one of the best D2 lacrosse programs in the country. There's, I think I told you they were 17-1 overall, and they're 10-0 in their conference. They always win. They're the A10, not the A10. That's basketball. Whatever the NE10, whatever it is that they're in, they always crush. And they do sometimes come away and beat those D1 teams. So I reached out to you and was like, I don't know. I think I like Lemoyne plus 3.5 against Hobart. Um, because Hobart was like at best they were middle of the road, but most of their statistics were, bottom of the
I
barrel.
think what really scared me was they were 46th in something. It doesn't
Yeah,
matter what. Don't even look
yeah,
it up. And I'm like, if they were 70th across the board, I'd listen to you.
right, right,
But 46th in Division 1, that's
right,
something.
right. So that's why I was like, I don't know. And I said, I'm not going to bet it, but I'm going to keep an eye on it, and see how it would go. And Lemoyne plus 3.5 would have been crushed. I don't
Yeah,
even
got
know
drilled.
what the final score
They
was,
lost
but
by 10 to 12 goals.
yeah, yeah. So it might have been, yeah, could have been 20-8, right? Like, who knows? So yeah, I didn't make that bet. So like you said, in a way, it's kind of like being 6-0. But in the bets I've actually made, I'm 5-0 in NCAA lacrosse. So Chris texted me the other day when Mercer won. Again, this is the fun part, right? Because it's games like this where you're betting on Mercer, right? Who's playing Detroit
I
Mercy.
did not even know Detroit Mercy was a fucking school.
Yep. Yep. So when I sent it to you, I was like, Detroit Mercy is arguably the worst team in the country. Mercer is, decent in most areas across the board. Some of their stats, they were bottom of the barrel, but some of their stuff, they were, pretty decent. And like I said, Detroit Mercy is bottom of the barrel across the board. And Mercer was a 2.5 point favorite. And I was like, I think I really like Mercer here. And wouldn't you know, they won what, 17-12 or something like that, 17-11. Um, and it covered, right? And that's, again, that's the fun stuff. That's the goofy, like, you're betting on Mercer, right? Against Detroit Mercy. Like, you get these like goofy random things, but that's where you're going to find the edge, right? Like, that's where you're going to be able to find something. Um, so potentially I'm onto something. I'm still not sold, right? To be like, oh yeah, no, this is great. Like, I'm 5-0. I could go 0-4 in the next four bets that I choose.
Yep.
But I'm riding high right now. Again, 5-0. Sticking to my guns for now, right? Still only betting a unit, seeing how it go, or to win one unit, I should say. Um, and we'll run from there, right? I think the biggest thing is being selective. That's
That's
something that's something that I got from the NFL slate. I would say last year, not this season, right? This past season, but last year's season, which would have been 2022, right? Was the first year where I was like, nah, I'm going to be selective in my bets, right? And not just bet blindly all the time. Because for so long, I was like, oh, I'll just bet all these games. I like that. I like, Vinny, what are you betting? No, I'll bet that. Nikos, what are you? Oh, yeah, I'll bet that. Right. Um, Last year and then this year, I was selective, right? Like I may have only had two, 3 bets in a week, right? So um, trying to use that mentality in lacrosse. And sometimes it's just one game a day. Sometimes it's two, right? Like I haven't gotten to the point where it's more than two on a day. Obviously, Saturday's the big day for games, but there's some games on Tuesdays and Thursdays throughout the week. So, um, yeah, we'll see how it goes. I'm gonna keep rolling with it. So, if you want to buy my picks, let me know. NCAA lacrosse guy here. Um, yeah, that's going to do it. So thank you for watching. If you're on YouTube, don't forget to hit subscribe up above, hit the thumbs up down below. Um, you can subscribe if you're an audio only guy. If you use Spotify or iTunes, leave us 5 stars in a review over there. You can get us on Instagram at Sarcasm Speaks Pod. Twitter is sarcasm_speaks. Facebook is sarcasm speaks. Website, sarcasmspeaks.com. Go to the merch store, buy some merch. And then also, while you're spending money, check out all of the sponsors in the show notes below. There are all the affiliate codes and links and discount stuff and everything you need to get some really cool products and save a bunch of money along the way. So, shout out to those guys. Go support them. And until next time, good night, everybody.